heart attack. Fast, fatal, hard impact. Past painful scars, in fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked, attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose. Pick a new submerged juice. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember you're discreet now. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do continue, let's at least give a brief little summary and review. Now, that'll be feeding into this part. Anyways, let's pick up with the last part. We talked about what was going on after the aftermath of Deku and his group taking down and using the zombie All Might to destroy a bad survivor group. Now, Deku, he was burying All Might. He made a space for him, and during all the commotion, you do at least have the fact that he talked to both Kendo, Momo, and Mei about a lot. And the next morning, his survivor group, they were quick to work on it. They were the first people who knew the zombie All Might was taken down. His final rampage, if you don't want to call it that, it made a lot of people run for the hills. And right now, a lot of zombies, they would be in the areas that were ravaged by All Might, leaving quite a bit of things left unattended in the area people have not been able to get into. You are better left firing a gun out in an open field, where it could echo for miles, than be in the area that All Might zombie was in. Because at least whenever you're killed, you'll go a bit more easy, because the zombie All Might just rip you apart. And that would not be a very, very good way to go. Now, there actually is also the next couple months where his group, they would do this, along with Mei searching the radio waves for any survivors. She would find a little bit of a lead here or two, but eventually she'd end up starting to pick up repeating broadcast. And there are actually things with Deku and Momo. Deku, he quickly started to realize what Momo was on about. He realized what Kendo was talking about. Yeah, him and Momo are together. I mean, they have been together, but they're not officially. I mean, Momo, she's there for him, and he does appreciate that, but it just seems kind of strange. She wants to keep their relationship a secret, and Deku brought that up to Kendo. And whenever he did find that out and tell Kendo about it, Kendo, yeah, she tried to explain things a lot more to Deku. Momo, she's only revealing their relationship to her because she views her as a threat. Momo is jealous of Kendo, and she does think that she'd make a move on him. Now, Kendo and Deku, they would talk about that more. And there actually is Momo. Momo, she does seem to be a little bit off. But I mean, then again, they're all off, right? It's the end of the fucking world. So, he can't really blame her. I mean, she has her own problems and stuff like that, but then again, he does still feel bad about it. And then there was their falling out, where whenever Deku tried to talk to Momo about this entire thing, she more or less just told him to not worry about it anymore. And that was something that Deku was surprised by. Now, it did somewhat confuse him. He doesn't really understand girls very much. And Momo being his first girlfriend, that was a strange thing to process. And then there's in the current day, where Deku, he actually is out scavenging with some people. And he actually is somewhat talking to a few of them. As we do have where he's walking down the road, and he does get to step on a weed that is coming up through the cracked ground. As he's going to look around the area. Okay, this all looks pretty bad. Yeah, it does. Toga's going to walk forwards, expressing to him that this place looks so messed up. I mean, half the buildings are still standing. Yeah, this doesn't look too good here. Do you know where Kirishima's at? Oh, uh, Kiri's probably on the other side of town. We'll meet in the middle. But for right now, what's a good location we should head to? I mean, we got some people targeting stores and trying to at least lure out, the shadows. But I'm worried about if we might run into Husk or Stickers. Hmm, yeah, those would be problems. Then again, I'm still worried about the spiders. Hmm, yeah, it does make sense. But then again, with the buildings not being too high anymore, they might not be a problem. Then again, if they are, they're probably just on the top floors. Hmm. Yeah, that's true. But then again, you don't think we'll find some sort of nest? Hmm? Nest? Yeah, these things group together and infect buildings. You don't think we'll find one over here? If there was one, it'd probably be in a warehouse. But I don't think there's any over here. Even then, my worry is about the sewer, because that's where I think these things might have an actual nest. Oh, that does sound pretty bad, actually. Yeah. Anyways, they're going to step forwards, as he does go to bring up a pair of, bolt cutters up. Him going to directly cut off something before he does going to open the door. And whenever he does so, he actually is going to step backwards and going to bring up his hands. Deku actually going to press down something and then go to pull it up. As whenever he does go to twist something, you do actually where a blade does pop out of the top of Deku's metal arm. And he does just go to bring his hand up and get ready. As Deku, he does have it directly on the top part of where his hand would be. And he actually is going to walk steadily and closely. Him going to bring up a knife in his other hand. And you do actually have Toga, who, while she is trying to keep things somewhat lit up in the dark shop with a flashlight, Deku, he does still at least look at the shadows, and try to make sure to stay in the sunlight that is pouring into the somewhat busted window. Now, when they do walk inside, Deku is going to look around, as he does walk over and check something. Holy shit. What is it? Come over here. Her walking over, looking down and going to see that they hit the mother lode. No way. Now, Togeda is going to bend down, her grabbing a bag, and then going to look up at it, as she holds up a small bag of potato chips, talking about how this place looks so messed up, but there's still stuff here. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, the door was locked, but the window is busted. Hmm. Yeah, but we don't want to make any more sound. Besides, I don't think that was a person who did that. Yeah, I don't think so either. But the store is still somewhat small. And, let's see. There should be a bathroom, if there is one, and I think there's at least an area in the back we might need to go through. If there's anybody here or any infected here, they'd probably be in there. Are you sure? Yeah, more than likely. Now, Togeda's gonna reach down and grab her knife. Her actually holding it up, as she does go to somewhat try to clear a hallway. She does stay 5 feet away from the entrance of it. And where she does go to turn and shine her flashlight inside, you do actually have where she does go to walk into an area where she can fully see anything that would approach her. And Deku is currently standing there by the side of the hallway. As Toga, she is going to whistle. And whenever she does so, Deku does hear something somewhat move. And Toga, she does at least try to keep her eyes out. As whenever Deku does hear something come running up, he does go directly throw out his left arm, him attacking the zombie as a spider does come in. Now, whenever Deku is actually able to punch into its side, you do actually have where he does go to throw it into the wall, him bring his leg up before going to bring his knife up, and stabbing down into the area where it does still somewhat have a head. And Deku does at least go to break through the skull and kill it. As Ray does go to pull back away, you do actually just get a turn and bring up his arm, as he does hear something else coming. Now, you do actually have a somewhat regular zombie, one that does still appear to have two legs, and Deku does watch it somewhat go to shamble, as it actually is, well, more decrepit. It's more rotten than any he's seen before. And that doesn't take Deku back. He can tell that this thing, it's clearly, what, starving? That's not even the right word. How is it so rotten? Now, Toga is going to step forwards. As Raisha is going to walk into the hallway, she's going to try the light. Whenever that doesn't work, she's just going to bring her hand up. And go to directly walk forwards to the zombie. When it does try to reach outwards for her, she's going to just grab it by its somewhat, well, arms, and then just go to bring her hands up. Her stabbing downwards, and then just going to pull it back. As she's going to somewhat step back away. Before she's going to turn and ask him what these ones are. I don't think I have those ones cataloged. It looked normal though, like an actual walking corpse. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. That's new. Okay, but still, you think there's anything else here? So we've at least confirmed a spider. We have. However, that's another problem. We might need to just bust the lockout back, open the door, and try and draw these things out into the day. But wouldn't that be more dangerous in the alley? It would be, yeah, but for right now, we don't have anything to worry about. We just have to watch the noise. That's all we need to do. Besides, I'm pretty sure lockjaws will be our worst thing to run into. Those things, I'd rather not hear those again. Now, it does somewhat surprise Toga. Deku, yeah, he is still a strange guy to her. When she first met him, he was so surprising. She never met a guy like him, but she's met somebody similar to him. It's just hard to understand. She thought she found the right guy. Then she made a stupid little mistake. And, well, yeah. Anyone who does remember it might be dead. And then there's her time with this group. She has grown quite a bit. Not both somewhat physically, but also mentally. She used to love this type of stuff. And right now there's Deku standing in front of her. His somewhat blade on his arm. And she doesn't find that fascinating or want to stare at it. She finds it somewhat disgusted. And it does kind of alarm her. She's always had her quirk be one of her personality traits. Her obsession with blood was fueled by her quirk, the passion she had for it. She loved her powers. And in a world where she can't embrace that side of herself, she's made herself question it. And it's just alarming. If she uses her power, she can be infected, then die. So, right now, she'd rather not deal with that. Now, we do at least have her, they do go around back and try to clear the area. However, they don't really find a lot. There are some zombies here and there, but they do take care of them, as silently as possible. And afterwards, they do at least try to clear the shop. Them piling what they can into bags, and then at least going to radio somebody. As they do drive by, they do at least go to grab the bags. Them handing over some new ones and asking if he thinks they'll have plenty of stuff ready before they have to talk to the guy about the dam. I don't know. The guy controls the water supply. And right now, with everybody in the city playing ball, or at least forced to, I need to come up with a plan for that. Are you sure? Because, I mean, we could just kill the guy, right? And free the water system? I don't know. Listen, right now, I think the best thing we can do is just play along by the rules. When we find an opening, we can at least try and do something there. But I'd say we need to control the water. Are you sure? That doesn't really sound like a good idea. Well, yeah, it doesn't. Anyways, now, Deku going to try and say something. He wants to ask about getting another weapon. Because, well, the knives, if they're going to be clearing areas with spiders in them, they're going to need some distance weapons. And Deku, whenever the guy does go to reach down towards his radio, because it did start to just throw itself a line, he does hear about a small medical emergency, where somebody, they were bitten, and they did actually encounter a sticker. And right now the person, they're missing most of the skin on one of their forearms. And they need to get the hell out of here. Now, Deku, he does this good to jump upwards into the truck. When the person, they did get a turn, and they were about to start smash their hand down onto the top of the truck. As for Deku, he does get to step upwards, Togeki's is going to follow him. Her actually going to climb into the back of it, as the two do go to get down and hold on to something. As the person is smashed down, the driver, he's told what to do. And he immediately does go peeling away from the area. Now, we do actually have a few blocks away. And where the person, they do go to round a corner, and they're forced to come to a full stop. As right now, there are cars blocking the way. And Deku, he does he's going to see, or he does going to get up and turn around, a partially destroyed neighborhood. Some of the buildings here are actually collapsed. And it's surprising that this place is still standing. He doesn't know if there was a fire here, if there was All Might. Or if maybe there was just massive damage during the initial days. And there is actually whenever somebody does start calling for help. And Deku, he does hear that. Himley's going to bring his hand up and go to grab her towards his own radio. Him turning to a channel before we're going to bring it up. Telling the person to stop shouting. Because they're going to call in more infected. Now, the person, they do get to reach down towards the radio and ask exactly if they're nearby. Because they heard that, right? Heard what? Heard you? No. That was not me. Whatever the fuck that thing is, it is mimicking people. What? Hang on. That's not you? Help! Help! No, it's not. Listen, I gotta look at that fucking thing. These things, they're starting to evolve again, man. I'm telling you. That fucking thing. Don't go out there. I mean, hell, it got this other guy. We saw him and he just disappeared. Okay, hang on. How big was it? I don't know. We didn't get a good look at it. Just, be careful. Now, Deku, he's confused. Okay, so if that's not a person and it's a zombie? Shit. Okay, this isn't good. They have a new variant. Now, Deku, he does get to turn around. Him going to switch to certain channels, and then go to press down twice. As rich people, they do go to hear that. They do go to reach for their radios. However, after the second click Deku did make, they do go to stop. And Deku does go to broadcast. To anybody on this channel, be aware. If they hear a survivor, do not respond. Might be potential new variants. Deku switching to other channels. And going to do the exact same thing. Now, a lot of people, they do hear this. And we do actually cut over with Momo and Jiro. Now, Momo and Jiro, both of these two, they actually have been somewhat walking through an area. And they were very curious about what's going on with a certain music store. Jiro wanted to go there because she doesn't really have anything that can remind her of home, other than the piano at the Yaiju mansion. And she thought, hey, what the hell? Walk into the store, take some radio equipment, maybe even some record players and other old stuff like that, and the excuse can be, oh yeah, it was just in there. So I mean, why not take it? Besides, they got a bunch of parts for May, so win-win. Now, you do actually have whenever Jiro does go walking forwards. Her walking through the broken glass of the door and looking around, as there's not really anything inside the place. And she just go walking over to an area where there actually are some old records. Her reaching down and going to grab one, seeing that it's still somewhat clean in its sleeve and the protective covering. Her wiping away some of the dust, talking about how nature really did forget about the world. You really can't be serious right now. I mean, come on, it was kind of funny. Not really. I mean, shit. I'm just worried. Worried about your ex? No, no, I'm not. I'm worried about my friend. Oh, I didn't know you and Izuku were still friends. We're still alive, we're both human, and we're on the same side. I'm pretty sure that would allow us to be friends. Besides, I told you about that in confidence. It wasn't so serious. I don't know, from what you've described to me, it sounded like a pretty serious thing. And you know how he is. I mean, he was always a nice, sensitive guy, but he's been through a lot of shit. Maybe he's still like that? At least from the way you described him. Uh, yeah. That's sort of the whole thing. He doesn't he doesn't like the boundary I set up. The boundary. Yeah, this is personal, private. I just didn't want things to get out there. I mean, shit. That was our business. No one else had the right to know. Besides, I didn't want things to be seen as favoritism if we tried to make group decisions and me and him always vote on the same thing. I don't want to be, oh yeah, you guys are always going to agree on it. You guys will never be in disagreement. All that other stuff, it just, I made a stupid mistake, and I hope he understands that. Uh, I don't know. He does not seem to be like that type of guy, though. What do you mean? Well, I mean, I've heard a few things from May and even Toga. And talking to Kirishima, he thought those two, well, you, had a thing for him. Uh, no, I don't think I did. I don't know, I'm just so confused. It was my first relationship. Mm, that's fair. Then again, you're also stressed as all hell. Understatement of the fucking century. Okay, rich girl. Anyways, do you see any old radio equipment anywhere? Maybe something that would help May? At least give us an excuse to be here. I'm not so sure. Now, we do actually have, wherever these two started to somewhat raise their voices a bit, there was a sound in the office. And you do actually have where Mamoru is going to turn and go to bring up her knife, as Jiro is going to pull a bow off of her back, her going to somewhat pull it backwards and aim that direction. As you do actually have where she was asked Momo if she heard that too. It was pretty loud. Do you know what that was? Don't know. It was, Jiro trying to think. If she could use her damn quirk, she can pinpoint it. Okay, she knows the direction. She knows the distance. But exact measurements are not her fucking forte right now. I want to say, if I'm guesstimating, 20 feet. There's a wall there, so maybe that's the office or the restroom. Okay, No, it's gotta be the back room or... Shit, okay, if we're gonna find anything in there, if we're gonna find anything of importance, maybe even keys to open some of the locks, we need to go back there. You sure? Pretty sure. Now, Judas go walking forwards, her with her bow still pulled back, and she actually has to bring her lips together to whistle, as you do actually where she has at least start to hear somebody call for help, and somewhat imitate that whistle for a second. And that does surprise her. There are survivors here? Okay, that doesn't make sense. Her gonna walk over, and we do actually have whenever she does go to clear the ground or clear the distance trying to call for the person to come out, because they're friendly, you did actually at least have the 2 clicks. Whenever the 2 clicks did come through, both Jiro and Momo did somewhat go to freeze, as Deku does talk about the situation. If they hear somebody make a call, do not respond. Possible new variants. And the moment Jiro did realize that, she actually going to turn and run. As the moment she did at least go to turn and start clearing distance away, the office door did go to bust open. And a zombie does come somewhat slithering out. As it does so, you do have where Jiro is going to turn around, looking over her shoulder as she's going to at least throw herself over the broken glass and the front door or the entrance. Momo going to at least get out before her. As whenever she does, you do actually wish she has to go to reach down and go to grab towards your gun. Right now, it's going to be very, very loud. And the car is about... Shit. Okay. 50, no. Okay, it's down the block. It's down the fucking block. Now, you do actually have the zombie that's come walking out into the day. And the moment it does, it actually has to go to look towards both of these two. As, right now, its entire body, it is somewhat horrendous to look at. The thing, yeah, it does appear to be human, but there's something wrong with it. Its body is bony, and its skin looks discolored and off gray, sort of. No. Now, Momo does go to switch, her turning the safety off and turning it to a single shot burst, bringing the rifle up and going to aim directly for the head. As she's going to pull the trigger, Jiro does at least try to tell Momo to stop, because she was at least going to pull her bow backwards. And the moment the zombie did go to try and move forwards, it was shot directly in its skull, and it did go to at least slump backwards after falling through the force. Now, Momo, she was going to hear the shot ring out, and a lot of people nearby, they heard that, as they started to pack up their things. That's not good. That's not good. Shit, a fucking dinner bell just rang out. Now, a lot of people do start to panic, and their actions were the radio to search a world of life on that channel. And we do actually have over with Deku. Whenever he did start to hear something in the distance, he did see that certain animals that were still around were starting to fly through the air. Yeah, he realized that something rang out. Haley's trying to ask what channel, and which section. Now, we do actually have over with him. He raised his voice, and right now his radio, it is very loud. Deku, he does actually hear things someone scream and move. As he does go to look up, you do actually have somewhere down the block. There is a piece of the road that fell from the highway over top. And whenever he does at least go to see something start climbing up it, he does get a look. He can't tell from the distance him actually going to grab something before he does go to get back up. Him grabbing the rifle from the person who did have it on their shoulder. And whenever he did go to somewhat make sure it was loaded, he went to go look through the scope with his one good arm, laying the top of the rifle on the truck. As there was whenever he did go to look in that direction, seeing this, well, nightmarish creature. And the moment he did see it, he did see the way it did go to open its mouth. Whenever it could open its mouth, there actually is the way it moves. It, well, its throat is vibrating. And he means that literally. It's pulsating and it's disgusting. Now, Deku, he does go to at least bring it up a bit, moving towards the head, before he does go to at least fire himself. Right now, there's not really a point. The homemade suppressor on this thing will help out. However, it's still going to be pretty damn loud. So, they need to evacuate. That's what everybody else is going to be doing. So at least they can make sure they aren't followed. Now, Deku is going to shoot the bullets. It whisking through the air as there actually is the zombie. It does go to dodge, move out of the way, and it does get struck directly in the side of its face, or the top portion area right there by the cheek, right on the bone. And Deku just watch that. The moment it is shot directly right there, and it does go to somewhat turn its head, there is whenever it does go to look back towards Deku. Deku going to look up and surprised, looking back through the scope, as the thing it did just going to stare back at him, before leaping down off the broken area and onto a car, before it just going to turn and Deku to start running on all fours. And Deku does watch that. Jesus fucking Christ. Now, the person in the truck, they do go to start backing up, as they're quite aware as to what the hell is about to happen. And when they do start to drive off, there actually is whenever more sounds can be heard. And Deku, he can already tell. The rest of the zombies are coming out to play, so they need to move. Him actually going to grab onto something as the car starts to speed away. Him looking behind them. As whenever it does start to round the corner, he does see more zombies, and they're starting to chase them down. Deku can see a lockjaws, and he can even see a husk, one of the larger creatures he doesn't like. Now, Deku also does see a smasher, which it is not fun to look at. Those things certainly have changed, and apparently there might be another variant. Now, we do cut back over to Momo and Jiro, where both of these two, they do somewhat hear something. They heard another shot ring out, and then there actually wasn't really to hear a somewhat gurgle sound. Before, they did at least get to turn and look back towards the area the zombie was at. Now, the zombie's body is gone, and that does somewhat alarm them. As where they do look around, they do try and find it. Before they do go to spot it directly up on top of one of the roofs, screaming. Now, it does try to scream out a very human word. And that is saying that both of the two, they do go to somewhat look at it before going to turn and run. And right now they're both trying to think. They shot that fucking thing in the goddamn head with a bullet. They were close. Why the hell isn't it dead? That being what both of them are thinking as they're running. And we do actually have where it is going to give chase. And whenever it does going to catch up, it does catch one of these two. Now, let's say that it does catch Momo. And whenever she does try to fight back, this thing it actually is able to grab onto her. And whenever it does go to do so, it actually is going to start tearing away at chunks of her outfit. Her actually at least going to feel claws that do scrape into the top of her shoulder. And the thing actually is going to bend down and start to bite into her. The moment it does, you actually have Jiro, who does come running up and does go to start stabbing it directly in its head. She's going to stab it directly in the back of its head. As whenever the knife does connect, it is going to slide across bone. And the thing it actually is going to look up towards her. As Momo, she's just laying there with her arm, or her hand, up to her shoulder. Somewhat, sobbing at the bite. And in a lot of pain. And we do have Jiro. The moment the thing just starts to move towards her, she is going to look around. Right now, it's fucking insane. Okay, the head is fully protected. she hit the back of its neck, and it just slid, like you were cutting metal. No, no, no. Okay, okay, what does she do? Her gonna bring her hand up and pull her sidearm. As the thing does go to look at her, it does start to walk forwards. And there is where she does going to start pulling the trigger. One shot directly to the head again. And it actually starts to bleed from the face. Her pulling the trigger again as it does start to close ground. And where this does actually happen, you do, however, does go to land directly on top of her. It going to bite into the side of her face. As she's going to scream out in pain before going to bring up her gun. Her going to shoot it directly in the stomach. And we do have Momo. The moment she's going to get back up on her feet, she's going to look towards Jiro. Her going to run over and directly slam this thing in the head with the butt of a weapon. Whenever she's going to knock it down, they're actually going to pull out her axe. And she's going to start throwing it down into this thing. Now, both Jiro and Momo, they do try to fight it. Jiro is trying to stab this thing, and Momo is trying to fight it with an axe. And this thing, it does start to get torn apart. It bit both of these two. And right now, there actually is the fact that they did have to chop off its arms. And there was where they did try to put another bullet into this thing's head. This time, they apparently were able to break the skull, and actually hit the brain. Now, both of the two, they do get to start walking back towards the car. As they do get inside, they do somewhat try to wait. Okay, so that wasn't good. What the actual fuck was that thing? I don't know. I don't know. Fuck, my face hurts. Okay, are you good? Yeah, I was bitten though. No big deal. I'll be good. I didn't use my quirk. Did you? No. I'm okay. My shoulder fucking burns. Did it bite you? Yeah, it did. Did you use your quirk? No, I didn't. But, fuck, okay. I'm not doing too good. I think it might have struck something, okay? Yeah, okay, give me a minute. Her pulling the key. As she's going to start turning the car over and drive away, she does at least try to regroup towards the area of the city they do know is safe. And right now, when they do go walking into an area that a lot of people they are currently stationed at, some people are surprised. Both these two came walking inside from out back. And right now, they do not look too good. As there is over Momo, she does get medical attention, and so does Jiro. However, a lot of people, they are somewhat a bit more concerned with Jiro. She does still have those things on her ears. And a lot of people, they're somewhat skeptical. They know that mutants, they turned first. And some of them, while they themselves are a little off, they've never seen somebody with a bite in a place so noticeable. And this thing does start to worry them. They're not too sure she can turn, especially because that bite mark is closer to her actual quirk. So, they're a bit more skeptical and cautious with her. They do help clean her up and even get her a change of clothes. However, they do keep her in a separate room. And that is something that Jiro thought may have just been for privacy reasons. However, she doesn't exactly understand why. Now then, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing night. Catch you guys in the next part.